Uri messed it here, my little reminder man. Okay, welcome everyone. And we are at the cusp of the 3 weeks, unless Mashiach comes in another 45 minutes. Doesn't look like, I could come at night also. But tomorrow starts Shivas of Tammuz in the 3 weeks. And we didn't have enough time for introspection and self-reflection, I guess we need to really zero in a little deeper, because it feels like it's been one long, not 3 weeks, 3 months, 4 months. It hit me yesterday that we missed, obviously we didn't miss, we celebrated the Yom Tov, but we didn't celebrate in the normal way 2 out of the 3 regalim already. We hopefully by Sukkot and Simchas Torah we'll somehow get back. But it's hard to believe, it's almost a full cycle of the Yom Tov. Just, it's hard to believe. At any rate, I wanted to share Chiddush that I've been looking high and low, and it's hard for me to believe that I'm not onto something, because it seems so obvious to me, even though one can claim that my theory has a bit of a Hasidish tinge to it. So I'll let you judge, and this is there's not. Hopefully the Torah we say is etched in stone, but nothing is etched in stone. It's Yishma Chacham V'Yosefai. We should all continue to hear and add and contemplate and share, and hopefully we'll all grow together. So, the 3 weeks start, and really, obviously, Shivas of Tammuz, 5 things happen. The Shir Saluchas, the Shir Saluchas, the Chet Egel, the Chet Egel Shir Saluchas, the Bot Latamid, Sarah Sapustimus is a Torah, the Brit Torah, and Bot Latamid, and the 5 things that took place. We'll read about it in Slichus tomorrow. But it also starts a 3-week cycle. And the truth is, if you look in Shulchan Aruch per se, the Mechaber really mostly surrounds from Rosh Chodesh Av. The only thing you have is to not take haircuts. That's a Ramah. That we're machmir to take not haircuts from Shivas of Tammuz already, although but as far as it's from Rosh Chodesh Chalbai or Rosh Chodesh Av, and not to say Shechianu perhaps, but there's really no real halachas. We have customs, listen to music and the like, but there is one halacha that's brought down. It's actually brought down, and this the Mechaber brings down. The Mechaber brings it down. It's not the Ramah. And one thing that even the Mechaber brings down during these 3 weeks we're supposed to focus on. And it says that Sarach Lizoher, a person should be careful, from Yud Zayin B'Tammuz, from the 17th of Tammuz until Tisha B'Av, 2 things. Loi Leilech Yechidi, a person shouldn't go alone, shouldn't walk alone, and V'lo Yaku HaTalmidim, and don't hit the Talmidim. Don't hit the Talmidim. These 2 things, that's it. Because, and it brings down, there's a shade, or demon, malach, ra, whatever it is, I think it's a shed, called Ketev Meriri. Whatever that means, Ketev Meriri is the name of the shed that is prevalent during this time, and it's sort of a time of danger, and therefore, if you go alone on the derech, or you hit your Talmidim, so then it's a time that's dangerous, and things can happen. That's what it seems like. So it always struck me. Just these 2 things. Loi leilech yechidi, not to go alone. Not to go alone. Then I think the Mishmur brings down from early Makaris, not to walk mechamal itself, not between, the shade and the sun. But that's already just added. But the Mechaber just brings not to go Yechidi and not to hit Talmidim. It doesn't say not to hit your kids. Kids maybe supposed to hit more. But some say certainly your kids. But not clear. It means Parshas. Not clear what it means. Not clear exactly. So I was contemplating this for years. What's this mystery of the Ketev Meriri? Who is it? And what are we really worried about? And where's the Makar for this? Obviously, this is sourced in Rishonim. And there are many Rishonim who were known to be dabbling in Kabbalah, the Rekech among them. And it stems back to early sources. It's not just obviously the Mechaber goes back a long time and way before the Chassidim. So this is not what people would like. I don't call Chassidish Maises because For me, Chassidish Shema says Torah Messina also. But even those who might be Litvaks, this is certainly authentic, spooky stuff. And even the Litvaks among us have to adhere to it. So what's it all about? What's it all about? So, we actually read last week Parshas Bilham, Balak, the Parsha Bilham, and where the Malach, the donkey, talks to him, and he says, "Hikisani zeh shalish pa'amim." You hit me 3 times. Shalish pa'amim. That sounds like shalish pa'amim bashana yero kol surcha. And Rashi brings down that you tried to stifle a nation that keeps the Gimel Regalim. That somehow Bilham, why that? He wanted them to stop doing Tefillin, Shabbos, Yontif, Kashrus, Taras Mishpacha. The big thing that he wanted was to stop them from doing Gimel Regalim. Somehow there's an association of Bilham and the abolition of the Gimel Regalim, the going up L'Regel. And so that got me thinking, because in the holy books, this is already in Chassidish Sfarim, but it also goes back early, even before them, that the 3 weeks is 21 days, and if you count all the number of the Yom Tovim, I can go through all the days, it's 21 days, corresponds to that, and also the 3 Shabbos correspond to the 3 Regalim. That's what's brought down in the Bnei Yissaschar. So this period of time of 3 weeks, which is an equal number of the days of the 21 days of Yom Tov that we celebrate, the total days of Yom Tov, including all the Yom Tovim, the Gimel Regalim, Rosh Hashanah, and Kippur, and the 3 Shabbos, which somehow correspond to the 3 Regalim, Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. So there is something about the 3 weeks in Bilham. But even more fascinating, and this goes back to Ramami Pano, earlier sources, and it says like this: is a pasuk that says, "V'loikam b'Yisrael, v'loikam navi oid b'Yisrael kameisha." That's a pasuk. Laikam oid navi b'Yisrael kameisha. That's not in this parsha; it's in Dvarim. Laikam navi oid. So it says Laikam kuf mem. No one's going to get up in Klal Yisrael who will ever parallel Moshe Rabbeinu. Impossible. But the Gemara says, "B'umas ha'olam come." In the Umas Ha'olam, there is someone who kuf mem will be able to be and match his level of prophecy. And despite that, he won't do anything with it. As you know, Bilham was a fulfillment of that. So the Ramami Panim, these are early Kabbalistic sources, go back hundreds of years, and they say that Kam is a reference. Who is the Kam b'Umas Ha'olam? Bilham. And Bilham, Kuf Mem, is the acronym for this demon called Ketev Meriri. Ketev Meriri, that's the name of this evil demonic force that creates havoc and danger during this time. That is the embodiment of Bilham. Bilham, like, come, Navi Oid B'Yisrael, Kamosha. But B'Umas Ha'olam, come, Kuf Mem, who's the Umas Ha'olam, come? Ketev Meriri, this evil force is Bilham. So here we have it, the 3 weeks. Shalosh Regalim, the 3 weeks, all the Yom Tovim equal to those amount of days, the 3 Shabbos, the 3 Regalim, and Bilham was trying to stop that. And we have a reference, an early source, that he has something to do with this Ketev Meriri that floats around during these 3 weeks that tells us not to go Yechidi and Lo Yaku Talmidim. Okay, so I'm going to share with you how my mind was working. This was serious thinking, not just it's always serious thinking, whenever you think, wherever you are. Serious, but this is not when I was swimming this morning. This is something that I've been thinking about. So it just struck me. It struck me. It says, Lo Yelech Yechidi, and it says, Lo Yaku Talmidim. By Bilham, it says 2 things about him. It says a bunch of things, but one thing is the pasuk says, Vayelech Shefi. He went Shefi. And Rashi says Shefi means he went Yechidi. Exactly that lashon. Vayelech Shefi. Yechidi, he went alone. Interesting. Layelech Yechidi, Ketev Meriri, and Bilham is the one Vayelech Shefi. He went alone. Already a reference to this idea of not going alone. What does that mean, not going alone? And the second thing that struck me is, if we have the one image that we have of Bilham, obviously he's trying to curse and getting Hashem voiced, stifling him. But what's the famous episode of him? He takes a stick and he tries to hit his donkey. I don't know if it was his Talmud or his companion, but obviously he had some sort of relationship with it. And again, an imagery of Layaku Talmidim. So you have two images. We have an early source that Bilham is somehow the source of Keter Meriri, and you're not supposed to go Yechidi. Vayelech Shefi, he went Yechidi, and you're not supposed to hit your Talmidim, and he hit his donkey. So what's this all about? So this is what I want to share. I want to share with you my thoughts. Obviously it's a long discussion. We're not going to encompass that within this few minutes. But, the whole episode with the donkey and how he reacted, and he was frustrated. He knew darn well. I mean, however we understand what the donkey actually spoke, was it some sort of an imagery? Was it sort of an understanding? Did he actually speak? But even if he did, what was going on? What was the general message we get from that? And I think the general message is that when a person in life has our own agenda, we talk about this all the time. We have our own expectations. We have our own agenda. We know what we want to accomplish. And when something comes in our way, we go crazy. We react. We react. And that's exactly what Bilham, a man who should have known better. Who in the world runs the world? He knew that God. And a donkey talks to him. You don't see that that's God. And what do? You get frustrated because he's stifling you on the road and 3 times, and you whack him out of instinct. What type of thinking human being are you? The problem was because he was Vayelech Shefi. He went Yechidi. He only had his own expectations, his own understanding, his own ambition. And it was, it clouded, like we spoke the other day, it clouds the ability to see the Dvar Hashem. And, he only saw himself, his own reflection. He didn't see Hashem. That's why he was befuddled in his Nevuah, and that's why he thought he'd be able to succeed. So that's Vayelech Shefi. That's what I think Yechidi means. And that's what it means over there. And this is what I'm going to tell you what I think it means. That's one thing, and then I'll apply it to us. And the second thing is Layaku Talmidim. What does it mean, Layaku Talmidim? There's a famous idea from the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov says that any experience in life, anything that comes your way in life is a lesson to teach you something. Whoever you experience, you bump into someone at the supermarket, you crash your car, you get a flat tire, whatever it is, everything is a message how God is speaking to us. These are things that are supposed to teach us about how to react, what Hashem, these are messages to us. These are the things that we're supposed to learn from, right? These are things that we're supposed to learn our lessons from. These things that are supposed to teach us something. And what I think it means is that Bilham couldn't see that. And he, instead of seeing this circumstance and the experience that came in his life as some sort of a message to him, and to become a Talmud and get the message, he strikes out instinctively just to quash it, get it out of my way, shove it under the carpet without thinking. And I think what this means is that our avodah in life, especially in the 3 weeks, which commemorate a difficult period in Jewish history over millennia, we've been in Golus, and it's about realizing that Layelech Yechidi, we don't go alone. Whatever happens to us is HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us. And everything we meet in life, whatever circumstance that it is there to teach us something. And we shouldn't react, but rather we should absorb it. And we should become Talmidim. And we don't become just simply reactive because we're frustrated. And I think that's the 2 lessons over here. That, the force of Keter Meriri, I would suggest, is a little demon that is called frustration, anxiety, despondency, anger. It's a little demon that eats away at us. And it doesn't allow us to think clearly. And as we go through life, we sometimes react in ways that are so contrary to what we know in our mind is the amunah b'tachon we have in Hashem. And we forget whether it's lashing out at somebody else, because nothing can happen to us unless Hashem so wills it. And yet we get angry at the people who don't give us the respect that we deserve, who don't live up to our expectations of them. And we forget, we're here to learn and derive from what's going on, not to expect others that they're entitled. We're entitled when people owe us anything. If anything, we owe everything to Hashem and to the world around us. And our only responsibility we have is how we react. We can't control others' react. And others' reactions are merely there to test us and forge us into beings that are not Leilech Yechidi. And that's how Jews throughout history, in all the difficult times, how are they able to maintain the dignity in the camps and the Inquisition and in this Holocaust, whatever it was, because lo yelech, they never went alone. And whatever came their way was, they understood, as difficult as it is, and it's certainly not easy, it was something for them to fine-tune their emunah, their betochen, their avodas Hashem, whether it was how to daven and how to act, and not to lose our humanity, whatever it was throughout history. And it's interesting that it says like this, and this is from Rishonim, not from this is from Rishonim. It says Vayelech Shefi. Shefi is two acronyms. Shevi can stand for Se Pezura Yisrael, so pasuk. We're a sheep that's scattered, throughout. Se Pezura Yisrael, and that could be what he thought. Bilham thought we're just a Se Pezura Yisrael, and his demonic attitude, his frustration, his anxiety that'll creep into us, and self-doubt will be able to defeat us. But he didn't realize, and this is what it says in Rishonim, that Shin Pei Yuz, which means Sheila Yechidi, which we counter with knowing that Hashem was holding his hand, it stands for a pasuk in Tehillim, that says Shomer Psoim Hashem. Hashem watches over those who are pesi, who act like fools. Not mean act like fools because we're foolish, but we just throw ourselves. We don't understand what's going on, but we know we're not Yechidi. And whatever it is, we're going to commit to doing it, even we understand it or not. That's what the Baal Shem said on Shomer Psoim Hashem. It's attributed to the Baal Shem, it's attributed to the Kotzker, many. And he said like this: the Baal Shem used to say that when it says Pesi Yamin L'chol Dover, Pesi, another part, it says in Mishlei, Pesi, the fool, the thoughtless, believe every word. And he used to say, doesn't mean the idiots, believe everything. That's not what it means. It says Pesi, those Oivdei Hashem, who realize that our thoughts and our understanding and our expectations and our plans, we can't comprehend, we can't define what to expect. We have to roll with whatever Hashem teaches us, and we have to become Talmidim and learn from every lesson in life to become better and greater. But we have to certainly be a Pesi. And the Baal Shem used to say in Yiddish, he says, Ich bin anar und ich gloib. Pesi yamin l'chol davar. The Pesi, if you live your life like a fool, without all our plans and strategies and expectations and the things that we think how things should work out, then yamin l'chol davar, then you can live with emunah in every circumstance in life. That's what the Baal Shem said. So I was thinking like this. I came across, I always keep my eyes open for inspiration. And, there are a lot of people who died during the COVID. And unfortunately, if you followed, there's some really remarkable neshamas, some Down syndrome children who are already older and they have vulnerable health systems and, their lungs and kidneys and, whatever, it's a delicate systems. And a lot of them have been very, very affected. And I read, so I had an old item that I clipped, not related to COVID, but I just wanted to share two things with you. And I think, Pesi Yam L'chol Davar, we think we're smart. We have a lot to learn from what we would call a Pesi, the thoughtless, the fools. Not that the fools go through, not diminishing them, but they lack a certain intelligence. Sometimes a lack of intelligence, you can act a lot smarter. And I want to share with you something. Just really, to me, it was very amazing. So there was this young fellow, his name was Y.Y. Rothschild, who lived in England, and his siblings wrote, I don't know if you got in some of the Frum papers, they gave out a little magazine called Down Syndrome Among Us. And the beautiful articles, very, very, very powerful. Certain things are practical things for parents of Down syndrome, but certain articles about, what's life with them. And they write about this wonderful boy, Y.Y., who unfortunately at the end of his life caught COVID, and he had to die alone. And here he was, they describe him. He was just someone who was so loving unconditionally. There was never, they write, if you were lucky enough to get a hug from him, and see his smile, he would change your day. He was part of a large family, and they adored him. They marveled how clever and lichtig he was, and he always looked out for the weaker person, no matter what. He never had any personal agenda. He was always looking. They write a story about this Down syndrome boy, that he was in a class, and there was a boy who was blind in this class of special kids, and the teacher told the kid that, you have to learn how to open it yourself, which he really meant. The teacher meant it right. Even though he's blind, he had to learn how to fend for himself. But this Down syndrome boy, Y.Y., who couldn't, just couldn't say it. He says, he couldn't take it. And when the teacher turned around, why he would over to the child and open it up because he just couldn't bear the kid's frustration, because in his innocence, just the good guy. He didn't allow cheshbainis to get in the way of being a good person, of being good. He says someone came to the shiva and told them that he once came home from work in a bad mood. He barely knew this kid, but he knew him from the neighborhood. And the kid saw he was in a bad mood. He gave him a hug, and he said, he saved my life that day because I was really in the dumps. And just his unconditional smile and his infectious, positive attitude about life, which is really what we should all be. But we think we're the smart ones, and they're the dumb ones. They're the smart ones, and we're the dummies. Because they never go yechidi, because they have a sense of belonging to Hashem, to their parents. They go, we think we're smart guys. We think we run our own little fiefdom. And therefore, when it doesn't work out according to our expectations, it falls apart. And they write the beautiful stories about him, and how he was just a marvelous young man. But it's a long article. I'm not going to get it. But I did clip earlier years ago another article about a 13-year-old girl wrote this about her brother, and she writes how she was the only sister in the family when this boy was born. She found out, and everyone was sort of wondering why it would be. Meanwhile, he turned out to be the love of their life. And she writes, I don't have much time, so I want to get to the point. It says, people say that children with Down syndrome, this she wrote when she was 13. People say that children with Down syndrome can't do other things that the rest of us ordinary people can, but my family and I have seen otherwise. And I want to read to you her words exactly. And I think, Pesi Yamin L'chol Dover. We have to become dummies. And if we'll become dummies, then we'll be smart. I'm going to read it to you. She says, ordinary people are often grumpy. They wake up on the wrong side, complain about everything that goes wrong, and need to be reminded to be cheerful sometimes. Ella, that was her sister, it was a girl, is always happy, so full of simchas chaim. Even when something happens that would upset me, Ella's still happy. She smiles through traffic jams. She smiles when the store is out of the skirt of size, and she smiles when it's time to go to sleep. Ella can make others happy so easily. Her smile is irresistible and contagious. When others are upset, Ella's the first one to go over, give a kiss, and say, feel better. And then they'll get lost in her own interests. Ordinary people often are selfish. They are hesitant to share or help others. Ella, her sister, is always ready to give, offer help, and part with her personal belongings. She can be found enthusiastically sharing a snack in school without anyone telling her to do so. This is a 13-year-old girl writes. Ordinary people often give up. They find it easy to say, I can't do it, than to keep on trying. Ella doesn't give up. Whether it's getting the folder into a knapsack, putting a coat on, or packing a toy away in a tight space, Ella keeps on trying until she can do it. She perseveres until she meets success. Ordinary people often forget to say thank you. They forget to thank someone who has done something for them, whether it's a special favor or a simple one. Not Ella. Ella doesn't forget to thank the bus driver, the man in the grocery store, my mother. She remembers to say thank you even when it's something as small as getting a drink. And so the world says that my sister can't do a lot of things that I can, but they don't know what my adorable sister Ella is my teacher. Ella has taught me what true simcha is. She has taught me what selflessness is. She has taught me what persistence is. She has taught me what appreciation is. My sister has taught me and continues to teach me every day. Ella is extraordinary, and for that I'm grateful. Pesi Yamin L'chol Dover. We'd be wise to sometimes put our own brilliance aside and become Soyim. Baruch Hashem, we're blessed with intelligence, and we should thank Hashem for that. We don't want to live those lives, and it's a challenge, but that's not the point. But they have a lesson for all of us. We bid Hashem no matter what. And Al Yaakov Talmidim, don't fight back when the frustrations are there. You're working with students and they're not behaving. It's not them that's the problem. It's you that are challenged. And you have to deal with the problem and make it work, not anybody else. That's like Yaakov Talmidim. Don't fight the lessons in life that come your way, that are there to make you great. That's the job of the 3 weeks, not to let Ketev Meriri destroy us. We have a challenge. It's been pretty rough, and not to diminish it. It really is hard, constantly. Not getting together. Just thinking, go to weddings, go to simchas. I haven't been to a bris, I haven't been to bar mitzvah, I haven't been to chasanas. I did some Zooms, but not more than that. And I realized how much I'm missing. It puts you into a bad mood. But the Eibush is there. Yaakov Talmidim, don't get frustrated, although sometimes I do. And, that's the way it is. And but we have a lot on Pesi Yom Chodova. That's the 3 weeks. That's Mr. Kenta Mariri. That's Bilham, the Kenta Mariri, who just lashes out. That's our job. And we do that, certainly, Benam Chaveri will improve a manifold, a thousandfold. They would be Zeicha. I'm sorry, I'm running. No time to schmooze. Going to catch Mincha. It's really great. Thank you, everyone. I don't think we're going to do the Chizuk tomorrow at 8 o'clock because we have Mincha early. If there'll be a change in the schedule, we may have to skip tomorrow, but hopefully we'll see each other in the next one. Thank you. I'll let you know. We'll keep it posted.